Hi, I'm Barbara. And what is the first thing you do when you are in trouble? What's the first thing that you do? Today, May 9th, 2026, what would you do if you were suddenly in trouble? Do I need to do this over? No. Okay, I'm good. Okay. Yes, so what would you do? So I'd like to talk about is this what it's like being on television? Is this what it's like when they have the bloopers? I just went totally blank. So, of course, I really should erase this. But I'm in a good mood. I'm not going to erase it. I'm going to let it be what it is. So, the topic is my topic is jump to center. So, the original question was, what would you do? And I'm also very hoarse from the room I've been in. Okay, do I need to do this over? Oh my. I'm too lazy to even get up and turn this thing off. But I'm just going to keep on going and you can have fun with me. I'm going to let it be. I just finished doing affirmations. And, okay, this has happened to me before where I go hysterical right in front of you, and it's happening right now. What to do. Ay. This happened to me a couple of weeks ago where I just had to laugh. So I'm in laughing mode. Where do I go from here? Okay, so Barbara, let's get serious. Let's get grounded. It is like 2 o'clock in the morning. I do these way too late. I'm on a really bad sleeping pattern. I go to sleep too late, then I sleep too late, then I lose the day, and it's because I've been making these podcasts priority. And by staying in the room too long, which I usually am out, when I'm out all day, I come back with a real voice. So let me go back to that. What do you do when you are in trouble? Where do you turn? And so I kind of made my own list is as a child. Oh, and let me just get this over with right now. Okay, people, my glasses are effed up and they also slide down from the greasy nose. And they're usually lopsided. So just know that this is going to happen until I get to the eye doctor again. These are expensive glasses. That's what kills me. Yes. I feel like I have to tell you my entire story every single time I do a reel. And of course I can't do that. So I have about 50 podcasts up already. So pick one, anyone. So where do you go when you're in trouble? When we're little, where do we run? We run to mommy. Okay, when we're in school, if the teacher's nearby, we run to the teacher. If we're married, we potentially run to our spouse or a friend. And I stop there. If you have a spiritual teacher, a master teacher, an inner teacher, you might run there. But what happens when all those are gone and you're old and you can't go to these people anymore? Where do you go? And so I'd like to suggest that I'm calling it jump to center. I'm suggesting that self-mastery involves going right to yourself, immediately right to yourself, instead of anybody outer. So if I'm calling this, which I have been, this is my spiritual heart, this is my God, This is my universe. This is where I live. Inside there. I live in there. That's the first place to go. And so I'm calling it jumping to center. And meaning as soon as something comes up and you get a little bit off balance, to jump inside what someone might call the kingdom of God, Jesus Christ, God, your angels, whoever it is that you honor as your leader. And I'd like to further say is at some point, many of us grow out of our teachers, which if it's a real spiritual master teacher, they want us to grow out of them. They don't want us to be dependent on them. If they do, you're with the wrong teacher, you're in a cult, you're in a controlled environment, you're with ego, you're with power. So as a teacher, second grade teacher, my greatest prayer was to see the children independent and be able to do things on their own, to be able to be socially, more than adequate, socially responsible with the children without my help. You know, I might be looking down at my desk, which often I led them to believe I was, but often I had my head down, but I was watching. You know, mothers and teachers, we have eyes all over, behind our head, to the side of our head, you know. So I could see what they were doing, but they didn't know that I was watching. One, for safety, and two, just to check in with them and to see, are they growing? So a teacher, a true teacher, is someone that glories in you letting go of the hand and going out on your own. Now, that's not to say they won't be there if you really do need them in an emergency, but the greatest prayer, I think, of a teacher, a parent, and a spiritual teacher. Now, maybe I'm just projecting, so allow me to project. I would think the greatest prayer, if they were whole themselves and had their own inner sovereignty, that they would want their students and children to have that same self-mastery and self-sovereignty. And I'll repeat it. If you are with a parent, if you are with a teacher, if you are with a spiritual teacher, and we've all had these people who need to be in control, they need to know that you are beholden to them. They need to know that you're going to follow them right off the face of the earth if they choose to go. I'm stuttering here. How many of us have left home early because of the insanity? How many of us have left spiritual paths because they're insane? They're control freaks. They are just into having a bunch of followers, paying money for classes, and every time they run out of classes, they create another class for more money. You know, everybody takes that class, they create another class, more money. It's like never-ending classes. And people never, ever leave. They just stay. Just stay and keep paying and paying and paying. And maybe a handful of people out of the whole congregation actually go out into the world and do what the teachings say to do. Most just keep going to the classes and get very comfortable. And I did that myself. I didn't even know I was doing it. Thank God something happened that woke me up, and I said, oh my God, I came here with colors. I was colorful. I had a life. I had this going. I had that going, and this going, and that going. And somehow over time, I just got dull and lost myself in this group. And that was besides being picked on all the time by a certain person. I was miserable. I didn't even know how miserable I was until I'd started these podcasts. I was so unhappy in that path, but I was so intent on studying that I didn't even watch. I didn't even see myself losing myself. Forgive me, guys. I am tired. I am thirsty, and I am hoarse. But this is really important. I'm repeating myself more for me so I can remember where I am. If your teacher doesn't set you free, if your teacher doesn't want you to be free, if your teacher doesn't inspire you to be free, whatever kind of teacher they are, get out of there. They're into control. They're into mind control. I'm going to say they're into mind effing. They're not healed. They're not whole. They need to hold on to their followers, and they need to hold on to the mediocre. They need to hold on to the broken people. You know, a lot of these New Age paths that have sprung up, and I'm in LA, so every path is out here, and I've been to many of them. They know very well that they are attracting what they would call broken people. Now, if they are safe and sincere, they really want to help grow you. But if you have someone in the administration or someone who's really toxic and cruel and mean, they will take that brokenness, identify it, and use it against you just at the right time that they just feel that they have to go for the jugular. Now, if you haven't watched my podcasts, a lot of this might sound kind of crazy, but there's pretty much a theme in my podcasts, having been thrown under the bus by a spiritual path, and I haven't yet begun to tell you the details. I'm just getting warmed up. This is just a warm-up. Broken people. They love broken people. Broken people, if you can convince people that they're broken, and they're broken, you keep convincing people that they're broken, they'll just keep giving you more and more money to take more and more classes, and then they create more and more classes, and before you know it, they're erecting building upon building upon building instead of building the people. So skipping around a little bit, I did do some affirmations tonight, and I would just like to use this opportunity to explain to you, when I say jump to center, my affirmations that I'm doing, I explained. We all know affirmations. We've all made the most wonderful, wonderful affirmations, and the longest affirmations, the most flowery affirmations. You know, after being 73 and going through hell after hell after hell, it seems to me there's just a basic few affirmations that are foundational before you can go into the glorious ones. And so I'll kind of go through them with you. I don't like to discuss them when I'm doing the affirmations because I want everyone to be able to focus. But my very first affirmation is God is real. If you don't have that premise going, if that is not your core belief, then go hang out with the Matrix. If you are not a Matrix person, if you are not a follower, if you are a leader, and I don't mean a leader that you have to be in the public eye, if you are self-led and you don't buy the BS that's going on all over the planet and all these institutions, etc., then the only core belief that's left for us is God, that God is real. And that is the purpose of my podcast, is to help you see in your own lives and around you that there is no other power that's real. Yes, there's matrix power and there's abusive power, etc., but if you want the real power that's going to help you grow as a spiritual being, as a human being, and help you grow in your world, in all your affairs, then consider that the core belief, the very core belief, has to be God is real. God is the only power. God is the only source. And again, I've mentioned for me, I don't see God as someone sitting on a throne. I see it as creation, the universe, energy, all the energy that makes up all of creation. We can go in circles defining God. So I'm just wanting to exclude the one that I don't believe is there's no one sitting up there on a throne somewhere that is just waiting for me to say, hello, how are you? Talk to me. I mean, this source has to be able to communicate with billions and billions of people, billions of stars, the planets, the flowers, the grass, the energy, the source is communicating with everything it has created. So it can't possibly be some being on a planet. And it has emissaries. It has the archangels, the angels, Jesus, Muhammad. There are assistants. There are assistants to source that are assigned, that are in a hierarchy, which we haven't talked about yet. So anyway, one of the foundational affirmations, if you're like 16 right now, if you could get all these, you'd be way ahead of most of us by the time you're 30, if you could really get these grounded. The second one that I said is that I am God in all my thoughts, all my emotions, in my body, and all my affairs. And what that is saying is that God is infused as a goal in all my thoughts, in my emotions, equanimity, in my body, health and wholeness, and all my affairs, my friends, my business, my being a student, that everything is balanced. And that cannot be done without Source as your partner, because we're built on this planet to favor our humanness, our imperfections, our errors, our mistakes. We're not geared on this planet to honor and value ourselves as gods, as children of God. We have a battle. It's a constant inner battle to choose that God is real as opposed to the world is real. And that's the constant battle. And that's why I've made these affirmations, is so you have a focus of what direction you're going in. So you're going in the direction of God is real, that God is pervasive in your mind, in your emotions, in your body, and your affairs. And then something that has been a battle for me forever. I'm a 50s baby. I watch my grandmother, I watch my mother, I watch my Jewish family. Everybody sacrifices for everybody. There's constant sacrificing. No one ever chooses themselves first. And so what did I do? I became this great caretaker, like the best. I could take care of anything. Send me anybody and I can take good care of them, great care of them. But to my own expense. I wasn't choosing myself first. No one really teaches us to choose ourselves first. It's considered selfish. Why would you choose yourself first, Barbara, when all these other people are hungry, when all these other people have no place to sleep? Well, I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to not have a place to sleep. And I fell into that hole because I wasn't choosing myself first. So choosing yourself first is a very broad spectrum. Is choosing yourself first is not so much about saying, I'm first, pick me. It's a silent inner choice that in this situation, I am going to select my words, my thoughts, my actions that benefit my wholeness, that I'm not going to sacrifice my psyche, my health, my body to serve you, except for children. If you have brought children into the world, you are responsible for those children. They are depending on you. So yes, a mother sacrifices tremendously for her children, but that's about it. And even sacrificing for a spiritual path, I found was a big, big mistake. Because while I was choosing them, they were destroying me. They never chose me first. They never choose anybody first unless you're on the inner circle and you have lots of money to donate, or you're famous, or you have power, or you have status. So basically, don't even choose your spiritual path or your spiritual teacher first. And if your spiritual teacher tries to convince you to choose him or her first, get out of there. That is not a real, authentic, spiritually ordained teacher. Choosing ourselves first goes against the grain of what we are taught on this planet. And it's scorned if you choose yourself first. Think of all the countries where women, oh my God, they can't even consider choosing themselves first. It could be death for them. But they can do it inwardly. They can do it inwardly. While the harm is coming to them, they could have this mantra going through them. I choose myself first. I choose myself first. God, please come to me and help me. I'm choosing to call on you instead of acquiescing to this outer power. So choosing yourself first is a big topic. The other affirmation I put was that I am enough just the way I am. How many of us grew up thinking that we're enough? How many issues have we all grown up with? You know, we don't have the right body. We don't have the right ethnic. We don't have the right hair. I mean, my big thing was wanting straight hair all my life. Like, what was this? God, like, who chose this? Who chose this? Who chooses hair that in humidity and rain like blows up to here? I mean, that was me. I have to laugh at that. So I was loving myself conditionally. If my hair wasn't stick straight and I hadn't blown it out sufficiently, I was not enough. It had nothing to do with anybody else. It just had to do with being brought up on magazine covers. I can't believe this tonight. On magazine covers that were all blonde hair, blue eyes, long straight hair, the 60s hippies. And I'm running around with this frizz. And so, you know, I was not loving myself unconditionally. I had a condition, you know, when am I going to have straight hair? And did everything to try to make it straight, just like all my friends did who had curly hair. You know, I never did the iron. I never did put my hair on an ironing board, but I know my friends did. So loving yourself just the way you are right now in this moment. There's no future. There's no past. In this moment, can I love myself looking at you in this camera with my voice like this, with my glasses lopsided, with my eyes swollen from whatever's in this room? You know, can I accept that? And if I couldn't, I wouldn't have done 50 podcasts already. So I love myself unconditionally. That's a toughie. And that should be taught to teenagers, the whole concept of loving yourself and not worrying about what anybody else thinks. But, you know, we don't, you know, most people die never getting these things. So we're lucky we have these. What was the next one I put? Okay, so I've been a big proponent of protection. In my experience, I have found, oh God, I mean, I don't even want to tell you the depths of negativity that I have observed and experienced with people. I'm talking serious cruelty, brutality, just my own, not even what's in the news. So protection affirmation I made is God, my angels, and my ancestors, my entire lineage behind me that's depending on me to be the curse breaker, is depending on me to be the one who finally steps forward on behalf of my entire lineage, particularly of women, and saying no more. The voice that they didn't quite have. And I have to be the last one because I don't have any children. I'm not moving this lineage on. So I'm the chosen one to come out of the closet and say enough is enough with all that my female lineage has put up with and been silenced and cast out and killed. So God, my angels, and my ancestors are now protecting me psychically and physically. And when I say psychically, I'm talking about all the levels of consciousness that we are not even aware of. You know, the mental level, the mind. People try to get into our heads. People are very sophisticated in doing that. I hesitate to say how, but those of you who know that there are people who know how to manipulate people's psyches from afar. Protecting our emotions. There's people who are masters at pushing your buttons and triggering you. And you cannot get swayed by everybody else's projections of their sicknesses. Sicknesses. I'm calling them sicknesses. Many people out there are possessed. They're possessed by negativity because they don't take good care of themselves. They're not doing their inner work. And it's not just, I just should say, it's people even in these spiritual paths that are not doing their work. They are at such high positions of power that they get away with murder. And people are so, oh, that's another thing I need to put in here. When you fear someone in the administration or your teacher, people in my church have fear of the administration. Now, I don't relate to that because I never had fear of them. I just didn't pay attention to them. There was nothing about them that I was attracted to. There was nothing about them, and I'm thinking of one in particular. There was nothing I ever saw him do or say that made me feel a resonance with him. He was like, I don't know where this person lives. You know, he lives in hell, actually. People are afraid of him, which tells me, what does it tell me? It makes me sad that people could be in a church for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years and they're afraid of the president. Like, come on. He's the most insecure, dishonest, brutal person, and that is why they're afraid. But see, I see him as in his diapers, like Trump. He's insecure. He has no clue what he's doing. He's running a church for how many years? At least 37 years. He's made a mess. People don't respect him. It's a combination of people don't respect him, but they're afraid of him. And then there's the followers who, you know, whatever you want will do. So I'm going off on a tangent here. When you're in those spiritual places, you need to protect yourself because there are people in there who are very jealous and very envious of people that are not broken, that people who really do come in healthy and have some issues they want to resolve, but they're not as broken as the leader. So when you have a broken leader, what am I calling it? I'm giving it a title. I'm calling it the wounded leader. The wounded leader is the weakest link in an organization. So basically, as long as you have a wounded leader in an organization, that's about as far as the group is going. It doesn't matter how many elegant buildings they have, how many rich congregants they have. Spiritually, they're being held up. It's like this necklace. I had a metaphor for the weakest link. I'm forgetting what it is right now. So I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now just to say is please protect yourself out in the world. whether it's just, God, please protect me as I go out into the world today in all my affairs, or God, I'm going into this meeting, please protect me from any energies that are not healthy for me, all the way to seeing yourself in a bubble of your favorite color. People usually pick white. See yourself in a bubble. I even see myself as kind of like the doughboy. Do you remember the little doughboy from television, the little Pillsbury doughboy? It's like, I remember once I was in a car and I was worried about having an accident because someone in front of me was just weaving all over the place. And I was trying to stay far back, but I wasn't getting home. And for some reason, it came to me as just put this Pillsbury doughboy around my car. So God forbid, if this car or any other car went into me, it would just boom, and kind of just, bounce right off. And I will say that was my imagination. So use your imagination to create your spiritual principles. There's no right, there's no wrong. Create what you believe in your heart works. For me, having the sense of a doughboy surrounding me means that if someone, threw a little psychic arrow at me, here's my pen, it would just boom, just bounce right off. So protection. And I haven't talked about ancestral stuff yet, but a lot of us are here to end, there's a word for it. I don't relate to the word level, but we're here to end the damage that has been done to our ancestors. And we've come to take in and transmute that karma that our ancestors could not do, and to clean up the lineage. And many of us on the planet right now that are choosing this as our last lifetime are doing that kind of work. And it's why a lot of us are exhausted. It's why a lot of us are not the richest people on the planet. We're tending to other matters. And it's not something that you can see on someone. You would never know, you can never know, unless you have that kind of sight, what someone else is dealing with. Someone who looks all ragged and haggard and exhausted could be the highest spiritual vibration and is healing thousands of people a day inside themselves. Now, would we know it? No, they might be sleeping on the street. They might have all the garbage out there. There's a lady I pass when I go to a certain place. She's taken over the entire street with her bags, with her things she rolls, and her bed. And, when I look at her now, I wonder what she's doing inside herself. And I don't want to lose you. I'm losing energy. So let me just quickly go. So next to last one is, I am my own true love, is another affirmation. That I am my lover. I am my mate. I am my soulmate. I am the one that I came looking for in this lifetime. Most of our lives are spent wondering where and when we're going to meet our other half. And at some point, we wake up and go, oh, I'm the other half. I'm the one who's supposed to be loving me. I'm the one I'm supposed to be loving. And then there is room for another whole person. This whole thing about I'm a half a person and my mate's another half a person, and then both halves come together. That's two half people coming together. I mean, that's the old talk. What about two whole people coming together with their own interests, their own dreams, but coming to some kind of agreement to support each other in growing into the best that they can possibly be? That's not to say we have to wait until we're perfect. But when I think about my marriage when I was like 20, it was like, what was I thinking? I had so much work to do, not even thinking about his. And that was not a responsible choice. That was not a responsible marriage. But who knew then? No one was teaching this stuff. So if you want a relationship, it's best to, ask the question, God, what do I have to do? What do I have to accomplish? What do I have to do inside me to prepare myself for another whole person that I can support in their growth and they can support me, and we just keep on going. But the difference is we have the same focus. We may have the same missions, we may not, but we're both going towards that core center, which is the spiritual heart. So that's that. The last one I wrote is, and something I made up. I don't know if anybody else has ever said this, but I'm a female, so I look at myself as the Christess. I don't know, I picked that up along the way somewhere. So I say that I am Barbara, the Christess. And I advise the men to say, I am the Christ. It's my way of acknowledging the femininity in me. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, all the women who've gone before me as leaders and as Christs. So I just whizzed through my affirmations, but that's the purpose of these affirmations. So you can look up my podcast. You'll see I say them every single day for the whole month of May, the same ones, lock them in. And I originally started off with jumping to center. When you're in trouble, we cannot go to mommy anymore. We cannot go to the teacher. We cannot go to our spouse. A lot of us don't even have partners. It's jumping inside here and connecting with that spirit, with that Holy Spirit, with that God self, with the universe, and just saying, what do I do here? Or what just happened? For me, sometimes I walked around so innocent and blind that I didn't even know I was under attack. It's like I didn't even know. I talked to you about being, some of my friends saying I was like Mr. Magoo. I just keep on walking and I don't even know that someone's trying to hurt me, which is good news, actually. But at some point, you need to get away from these people. So tonight is a ramble, but I did want to say when you jump to center, what you're looking for is an essence of trust, some essence that you can trust, that's trustworthy, that you've tested and tested and tested, and it always shows up supportive. Something that has clean, clear boundaries, that you know that when you go inside and you jump to center, I don't know that God has boundaries. I would say maybe there is a boundary. I would say maybe the boundary of humility, that you don't go in with your big inflated ego, holier than thou attitude. Okay, hey God, hey, do something here. That is not the way to approach spirit. So there's humility might be a good boundary. I also wrote, when you jump to center, you want to calm down as much as you can first, so you're available to the energetic that's coming through to help you. If you're all frazzled and out of control, there's not much, you're not ready yet for any kind of messages from spirit. And I'm rushing through this, something with a W, and I can't read my handwriting. So I'm going to keep this podcast up. It was supposed to be a very short reel, and I'll probably have to redo this whole thing. But consider when you're in trouble, or you're creating something. You're creating a book. You're creating a movie. You're writing anything, a poem. Jump to center and ask for inspiration. And ask for the words. Ask, what is my character saying here? For me, in the song, what is this person that I am singing about trying to say, so that I could convey it to my audience? So I've been all over. I had 2 more things, but I'll save them. So This was a wild ride. So anyway, enjoy this if you got this far. And I think I'm done for the night. I will go to sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow, Sunday. Okay, good night. God bless. Jump to center. Bye.